Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutation to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. Okay, I just want to go into a quick lesson, going into this saying I had seen on this Stoic page that I have found on YouTube. And of course, a lot of the Stoic quotes is, a lot of the Stoic information that they post on their page, or information in general that they post, is going into a man and becoming more masculine, because that's the energy, that's the spirit that's in the earth right now. The spirit of masculinity returning to the earth, and primarily turning to the Israelites, and returning to the elect, because we know there's a lot of men that's of all nations, that's especially over here in Babylon the Great, where men have been emasculated so much. Now the information is starting to come back into what it truly means to be a man. But again, the Israelite man, we have the most access to this ancient wisdom, because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua gave us the entire blueprint. And now, in the most wicked kingdom, in the time where we was at the most extreme disadvantage, this information is coming back, and it's becoming most crucial. And we're going to utilize this information to benefit us, especially in the times that's to come. And of course, in this saying right here, of course, a lot of it, as it goes into the woman, which it's not really my intention to really go into the woman as much as I've been going into it. But, at the same time, I had to consider, that's the spirit that's in the earth. That's the time we're living in, where women is going to become either a major stumbling block for a lot of men, or it's going to become they're finna become a asset. And the reason why I say a stumbling block, because men are going to, during the time of Jacob's trouble, during the time of all this trouble, tribulation, women are going to suffer the most. Women and children are going to suffer the most, and very well, a lot of women are going to be destroyed. But you still have a lot of men, both in this truth, primarily in this truth, that they look at Isaiah 4:1, and they think about, I'm finna have X amount of wives, and this, that, and the third, all these women, and all these fine women, and this, that, and the third, which I at one point even had that mindset, adapting the mindset of, I can't wait to have all these women, but having to consider too that a lot of these women just not gonna make it. They not right. They can't, they don't know how to be women, because women means servant. They don't know how to be servant. They don't have that attitude. And a lot of women are just out for self. They're out for their own survival. They don't really care about you. They just care about what you can provide. And they show that now. But now that these benefits are starting to get taken away from them, and everything that the government and everything that Esau Edom had granted them, he's starting to take it back, because he has no use for them no more. Now they're starting to realize just how bad the predicament they really in, which they've been in this predicament the whole time, because it was always destined to happen. He was always going to cross them, but they just didn't realize it. They've been having it too easy, So it don't be my intention to go into the topic of the woman, but through the spirit, it comes out, it comes up, so I just flow with it. But I'm going to get into the post, and then I'm going to get a couple scriptures, and then I'm going to, end it. So this is, it says, ignore her beauty for a second. How does she add value to your life? What's her mentality, her morals? Remember, beauty is worthless if her mindset isn't aligned with your values. A real connection is built on substance, not just look. Choose wisely. Which, when I seen this, it made me think about Proverbs 31 and Isaiah 4:1, because it's going to be, again, a lot of situations where women are going to be flocking to men, and especially the men of the Lord, because the men of the Lord are going to be the ones moving with stability and moving with wisdom and knowledge and understanding in these times to come, not bothered in the fashion that everyone else is bothered in. And people are going to pick up on that, especially women. And during that time, of course, women going to be at a major disadvantage because they're not going to have, if they can't afford to live, they can't afford to eat, they can't afford to live, and they're not going to be able to afford to buy the things that they've been buying, the hair, the nails, the lashes, the makeup, everything that they've been buying, everything they've been doing. They're not going to have the money to do that. So we're going to see them in their true form, so to speak, where they don't know how to naturally take care of themselves. They have been so artificially made up that they think that their beauty comes from being artificially made. Now they're forced to take on their natural state or their natural form, and we're gonna really see what they truly look like. And for a lot of women, the exterior is gonna match the interior. They're not gonna be attractive at all. But you still gonna have a lot of women that are attractive. But like the post said, are these women the type of women that can add value to your life? And that's how our decision making, that's how the men of the Lord decision making is going to be operating in the times leading up until Isaiah 4:1 is completely evident in the earth, which is already taking place. There's a lot of women are already getting into these situations, but on a major scale. I was going to say something else. I forgot what I was going to say, so I'm going to just jump straight to some of the scriptures. And I forgot what I was going to say. Get that Proverbs 31. Let me see. I want to get a couple scriptures before I get to the point of it. This is Proverbs 31:10 in the KJV, then the AMP. It says, "Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies." Now it says in the AMP, an excellent woman or a virtuous woman, one who is spiritual, capable, intelligent, and virtuous. Who is he who can find her? Her value is more precious than jewels, and her worth is far above rubies or pearls. And a woman in this society like that is extremely rare to find. Almost damn near non-existent, But a woman, it says spiritual, capable, intelligent, and virtuous. So that's exclusively for the women that's of the elect, that's going to be saved. Those type of women are tuned in to the point to where, or they're going to be tuned in to the point to where they can, they have the necessary skill sets to be beneficial to the men of the Lord in the times of great trouble, and be by his side no matter what. Truthfully, honestly, they're not out for self. They're down to follow their man because they know their place. And a lot of women are going to try to tap into that, and that's in the times to come. But women don't just qualify to receive the benefits of security. What does it say? Isaiah 33:6. Stability. They don't. The mass majority of women don't qualify to receive those type of benefits. Because of especially how they've been living these past 50 plus years. However long they've been having these benefits and living off of the government and trading their families and their man for this system. They don't get to live off of that and then turn around and reap the benefits of being under the elect Israelite man and be saved. It don't work that way. So women who have truly converted and changed their mindset over to serving Yahweh B'Shem B'Shah and is willing to serve their men, those are the women who will be saved during that time. And this is not a thing of beauty, which I'm going to jump down to verse 31. It's like not 31:30. Verse 30 in both the KJV and the AMP again, it says, "Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised." Now in verse 30 in the AMP, "Charm and grace are deceptive, and superficial beauty is vain, But a woman who fears the Lord, reverently obeying us, like reverently worshiping, obeying, serving, and trusting him will all feel respect. She shall be praised. So those are the type of women that's going to be saved during the time that's to come. Those women that are in that mindset, it's going to be a lot of women being put to death. There's going to be a lot of women rejected in the times to come, and they think that their beauty or what they have to offer, which they don't have anything to offer. They think that their body is going to be enough to put them in a predicament where they can be under a man, and that's not going to work. You have a lot of women that don't know how to be self-sufficient. They don't know how to cook. They can't clean, and they don't know how to be submissive, or they don't know how to do the duties of a wife. And even for women that know how to do the duties of a wife, whereas cooking, cleaning, they never seen women be submissive to a man. They never was brought up in that type of environment. And they ultimately never truly took on that passion or never took on that way of being submissive under a man. So when the time comes for them to actually have to do it, they're not going to be able to do it. They're not going to be able to handle it. It's just like for a test. You can't procrastinate and do everything opposite of the test, as far as studying and learning the material that you're going to need for it, and then think when the test comes, you're just going to automatically know the answers. It don't work that way. So it's the same way for women during the time of Jacob's trouble. They're not going to be able to just tap into femininity and instantly convert. It don't work that way. So this is Isaiah 33, verse 5 and 6. I'm going to read both KJV and AMP. So Isaiah 33 and 5 and 6 at KJV. The Lord is exalted, for he dwelleth on high. He hath filled Zion with judgment and righteousness, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh Shem Shai is his treasure. Right. So like he said, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time, and strength of salvation. So having the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, moving through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai in the times that's to come, is also gonna keep us stable, because we know what's happening. We know what to do and what not to do. And we know to follow the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai. We know who to call on. We know who to pray to. We have the tools necessary to get us through what's to come. And we have enough knowledge and information to know how to maneuver through different situations. Whether we need to be patient, we need to wait, we need to move, we need to act. However the spirit guides us, we're going to know how to do it, because we had that connection and that relationship with Yahweh Shem Shai built up. And that's what's going to keep us stable. Now, this is Isaiah 33, 5 and 6 in the AMP. The Lord is exalted, for he dwelleth on high. He hath filled Zion with justice and righteousness. And he will be the security and stability of your times, a treasure of salvation, wisdom, and knowledge. The fear of the Lord is your treasure. Right. And what is the fear of the Lord? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So it all comes full circle back to having wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of how to move during the time. That's why Isaiah 30, I might well get it the next verse, previous chapter. This is Isaiah 32, verses 1 and 2. Now I'm going to read this in the AMP. It says, behold, a king will reign in righteousness, and princes will rule in judgment. The king is Yahweh Shai. The princes is the 144,000. Each one of them will be like a hiding place from the wind and a shelter from the storm, like streams of water in a dry land and a shade of a huge rock in a parched and weary land to those who run to them. Right, so it said each one of them going into the members of the elect, the men of the elect. And we're going to be like this for women, primarily women. And it's going to be cases where it's women and children as well, because brothers have children too, But for the most part, women are going to be the ones taking shelter under the men of the Lord, the men of the elect, and being able to have a decisive and very beneficial way of thinking as far as decision making on who and and what type of woman you would want under your to put under your hedge or be considered in your household, that's very important because a lot of men in today's time, it's the same thing. A lot of men make decisions based off of how women look. They don't consider the type of woman that she actually is. And that decision making is going to be the same way in the time of Jacob's trouble too. Even though it's going to be men that be, they're going to be trying to worry about their own self. They ain't going to be worried about a woman like that. You're going to have a lot of situations, different scenarios taking place. It ain't like men just going to completely negate women. They're going to be using women for their own benefit. And a lot of men are going to use women based off of their looks. But the men of the Lord is not going to move in that fashion. They're not going to move in that way. So I'm going to get one more because I'm speaking on the men of the Lord a lot. And I'm going to read that post one more time. But the post was going into the men being the prize. That's basically how the post was worded. You don't value a woman based off of her looks, but basically base it off of how valuable she is to you. Indicating that the men or the man or men in general, us men, we are the prize. So this is Isaiah 33. It's like Isaiah 13 and 12. In the KJV, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Right. So the elect men will be the most precious thing on the face of the earth during this time, because they're going to have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding on how to move and how to maneuver through all these dangers, so that when Yahweh Shah comes, when the time of salvation comes for us to be delivered, we can be delivered, Lord willing, So going back to the quote or the saying, it says, ignore her beauty for a second. How does she add value to your life? What's her mentality? Her morals? Remember, beauty is worthless if her mindset isn't aligned with your values. And our values is to be saved. So our values is focused on Yahweh, Yahweh Shah, and focused on this truth, on this doctrine. That's what we should, our first love. This is our first love, and we had turned away from our first love. Now we have turned back. So our values is to serve Yahweh, Yahweh Shah. And her values is to serve you. And serving you is supposed to help you serve Yahweh, Yahweh Shah even better. Her purpose is to make your life better. So, like I said, remember, beauty is worthless if her mindset isn't aligned with yours. A real connection is built on substance, not just looks. So choose wisely. So in the times to come, men, the brothers, the elect men, they're going to be choosing wisely when it comes to dealing with these women. So, Lord willing, this was a quick, edifying, quick lesson. I want to give our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutation to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. Till next time, shalom.